Job done. Call me at 531-7494.
No job is too big or too small. East Coast Grading and Utilities. Friends helping friends. 531-7494 for East Coast Grading and Utilities.
It's bow time. Chicken or biscuits? That's an impossible choice. How can you decide between Bojangles' perfectly crispy, boldly seasoned chicken or their fluffy, made-from-scratch buttermilk biscuits? Well, the good news is you don't have to. With a Cajun chicken filet biscuit, you get the best of both worlds. An all-white meat chicken breast marinated with a bold blend of seasonings and served up on a fluffy, golden buttermilk biscuit. When it comes to real-deal Southern flavor, there's no reason you can't have it all. Order a Cajun chicken filet biscuit today. It's bow time.
Hey Birdland! Experience one of Oriole Park at Camden Yards' best values with the completely redesigned Pepsi All-Inclusive Picnic Perch. With an updated brand and a fresh new look, enjoy exclusive club-level access with left-field club seating and an all-inclusive food and beverage menu, including hot dogs, pulled pork barbecue, assorted Pepsi drink products, and more. Take advantage of this great deal now. Tickets start at just $45. Buy your tickets at Orioles.com/picnicperch.
This is Dr. Josiah Duke from Orthopedics East and Sports Medicine Center. Our practice has been caring for the athletes at ECU and the residents of Eastern North Carolina for more than 35 years. Whether it's treatment for your sports injury or it's that time for a joint replacement, Orthopedics East provides the latest in operative and non-operative orthopedic care. We also offer on-site physical therapy and MRI services as well as walk-in urgent care on weekends from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Call us at 757-BONE or visit us online at orthoeast.com. Go Pirates!
Have you ever seen those exotic aquariums like the guys do in Las Vegas on television? You ever thought about having one of these aquariums in your business? It's more affordable than you think. This is Hal Pruitt with rentafishtank.com. We can make having an aquarium in your business turnkey with no work, cleaning, or hassles for you. Rentafishtank.com creates a relaxing atmosphere and keeps children occupied. Rentafishtank.com already services many dental, pediatric, and doctor offices, plus hospitals and senior living centers. Check us out at rentafishtank.com.
Pirate Radio.
Being a part of the program, being a student athlete at ECU, they are going to be very much in the spotlight.
The voice of the Pirate Nation. You're listening to The Brian Bailey Show, powered by Greenville Utilities, working for our community, not for shareholders. Now, back to the show.
All right, welcome back on this Monday, a holiday Monday. Happy Labor Day, everybody, as we talk Pirate football. East Carolina falling to number 2 Michigan by the final of 30-3 on Saturday in front of 109,480. What a crowd it was. What a neat experience going to the Big House. Obviously, it didn't go the way the Purple and Gold wanted it to go, but still 30-3, the final. Pirates fall by 27 in that opening game. Donnie Kirkpatrick scheduled to join us, the offensive coordinator at East Carolina. We are trying to track him down as we speak. When you look at the game, obviously Mason Garcia, he would get the start in the game, and Garcia would have a little bit of a struggle early on. The plan early on was for East Carolina to switch up the quarterbacks after 3 or 4 series. Garcia did throw that interception. That was the first turnover for the Pirates in a span of 8 games. The last time the Pirates had turned the football over was back at Tulane on October the 8th, 2022. That was that 24-9 loss at Tulane down in New Orleans, and I remember that play. That was a Holton Ahlers pass over the middle into the end zone, an interception. But since that time, the Pirates had yet to turn it over, and you really turned it over only once against the number 2 team in the nation in front of 109,000 plus. So not a bad outing as far as that goes. That's one of the things, one of the keys to trying to win the game was trying to limit the turnovers, and the Pirates did that. There's only one TO. Garcia, by the way, 11 of 18, 80 yards with the 1 pick, and he also had a team-high 36 rushing yards on 8 carries in the game. Alex Flynn also played the quarterback position. He was 6 of 11 for 52 yards. I thought Alex came in that second quarter, gave the Pirates a little bit of a lift at times, and just trying to figure out what they're going to do at quarterback. After the game, Mike Houston did say that this may be a 2-quarterback team. Now, there's the other adage that says if you have 2 quarterbacks, you really don't have any quarterbacks. But in this situation, with both quarterbacks with so much inexperience, It may be the fact that you play the Marshall game, you play both again, and you try to find the one that's going to give you the best chance to win the football game. So I think that's the thinking right there. But Flynn and Garcia combined with the one interception thrown by Mason Garcia. Rajay Harris was back. Didn't have a whole lot of running room at all. He was clogged up the entire game, 22 yards on his 5 rushes. He did have a little scamper, I think it was like for 16 at one point. Javius Bond making his first collegiate experience. He had 16 yards on 4 attempts, and he had 31 receiving yards. He had one over the middle that he had a nice gainer on. So that was another positive for East Carolina. I thought Archer Trafford, the punter, with 5 punts for 245 yards. He averaged 49 yards a kick. They weren't pretty punts at all, but they were very effective. Take you back to the first possession, and when he kicked that football and got Michigan down inside the 5-yard line, that was a key early on. In fact, that interception that Mason Garcia ended up throwing kind of flipped the field, but the Pirates had the Wolverines exactly where they wanted it, at least for a little bit. Early on in the game, trying to limit the damage as far as that goes. A 7-0 game after the first quarter, and then Michigan would tag on and lead 23-0 at the half. The goal line stand, I think that the Pirates came up with in that second half. I think that showed a lot of resilience for the defensive players, and I think they were fired up about that. Gave the Pirates a little bit of a spark at that point, but it was just one of those games you're playing against a team that's just bigger, faster, stronger, and I think when you go up against a team with that much talent, this is a Michigan team not only picked in the top 5 in the country, picked number 2 by most polls or all the polls, but they're a team also that has been in the playoff before, and they're looking to get back there. And I think that they look the part, at least through one game. I was going to share some of this later on, but as we're trying to get up with Coach Kirkpatrick, I will tell you that just being at Michigan Stadium, the 109,480, that was just incredible. Being on the field, what I thought about being in the tunnel, both teams come out of the same tunnel. The locker rooms are across from one another. And just thinking back to all of the big games in the history of that stadium, just think to when it's cold in November and Ohio State is there, and it's for one of those big Michigan-Ohio State games, and the Buckeyes are in one locker room, and the Wolverines are in the other, and just some of the, I know that there have been some pushing and shoving in that tunnel before with both teams coming out of the same one, but it didn't happen this week. But just the history and seeing some of Michigan's playing football for so long, and that stadium is so old, but it's really humongous. And the 2 press boxes, one on one side, one on the, I guess the luxury boxes on the other side, but they were just huge. And to get 109,000 in there, the place actually seats 107,601, but to get that many people in the stadium, it was a maze out. So you saw all of that yellow all throughout, and you saw some little dabs of purple here and there. I really thought that East Carolina traveled very well. I think the Pirates, the fans that were there and just everything as far as that goes was really a positive. I think a lot of people had put this on their bucket list and wanted to, hey, we want to go support the Pirates at Michigan. They knew the Pirates were going to be big underdogs, but they were there. We were down in downtown Ann Arbor on Friday night, and you wouldn't believe the purple and gold. People just walking around. One of the waitresses where we were at said we didn't expect this kind of, rush from all these purple and gold fans and all these Pirate fans, and you guys really travel is what they said. So that was encouraging to see. So it was a big time as far as that goes, but I think a very positive experience. When we get a hold of Coach Kirkpatrick, we want to find out if we can what his thoughts were on the entire thing as far as the experience, because that's something that when you play a team that's a huge favorite, which Michigan was. I mean, I don't know what anybody else expected, but Michigan was a 36-point favorite. They were expected to go in there, and I think some people expected East Carolina just to roll over, which the Pirates did not. I think the defense played, pretty solid football game. Offensively, the Pirates struggled to get things going, trying to move the chains, but they're going up against really good defense. And I wanted to see, when we get up with Coach Kirkpatrick, what he saw on film, what he saw as far as, did the Pirates not have the physicality to compete, or did the Pirates just make some little errors here and there that they couldn't crack, a play, couldn't crack a run, couldn't do that kind of thing. So we're going to take another break right now. We're going to try to round up Coach Kirkpatrick. He was scheduled to be with us, so we're going to try to find him. We'll be back with more on the Brian Bailey Show on this Labor Day Monday after this.
This is a Pirate Radio Sports Break presented by Ron Ayers Motorsports, Highway 11 north of the airport in Greenville. It was a top 25 matchup in college football last night. Number 8 Florida State defeated number 5 LSU 45-24. 18th ranked Oregon State defeated San Jose State 42-17. Tonight, number 9 Clemson will be in Durham to take on Duke. Kickoff is slated for 8 o'clock. In the Canadian Football League, the BC Lions beat the Montreal Alouettes 34-25 over the weekend. Former Pirate Tyler Snead had 1 pass for 24 yards, and he caught 7 balls for 69 yards. In Major League Baseball, the Phillies beat the Brewers 4-2. Jeff Hoffman pitched an inning and struck out 2. Alec Burleson was 1 for 5 with 2 RBIs as the Cardinals defeated the Pirates 6-4. The Orioles beat the Diamondbacks 8-5. It was the Cubs over the Reds 17-7. The Mets beat the Mariners 6-3. It was the Dodgers over the Braves 3-1, and the Yankees beat the Astros 6-1. This has been a Pirate Radio Sports Break. I'm Shirley Rhodes. The icy treat that can't be beat is Sparky Snowballs. From big kids to little kids, Sparky Snowballs has been making smiles happen for over 20 years. If you're not in the mood to chill out with a snowball, Sparky's funnel cakes and fried Oreos are a perfect Sparky-licious treat every time. Are you having an event, party, or fundraiser? Call Sparky's to come on site. Remember to follow Sparky's on Facebook or visit SparkySnowballs.com to see where they'll be next.
For the latest from the world of golf, tune in every Saturday morning from 8 to 10 for the Golf Shop Radio Show, presented by PlayGolfMyrtleBeach.com, the golf capital of the world. Hosts Mark Greenhelch and Matt Blanchard talk golf from tee to green and everything in between. If you like golf, you're going to love Golf Shop Radio. Before you tee up, drop on in. Welcome to the Golf Shop.
Before anyone walks into your business, the outside is what they see. Make sure your first impression is a good impression with the right curb appeal. Hi, this is Daniel Andrews from Dan Andrews Lawn Service. We specialize in making your business look great. Let us handle all your professional landscaping needs. We do it all so you don't ever have to worry. Residential services are also available. Call us today at 717-8006 and we'll come out and give you a free quote. Taking care of your landscaping needs is all we do, and we've been doing it for over 20 years. You can trust our reliable team at Dan Andrews Lawn Service, covering all of Eastern North Carolina.
Jimmy John's has great taste wrapped up. All your favorite Jimmy John's sandwiches are now available as a wrap. Enjoy all natural meats, cheeses, and hand-sliced veggies, bundled into a convenient grab-and-go wrap that's made when you order it. Top it off with sensational sides, including new home-style potato salad and bow tie pasta salad. Grab your taste buds around Jimmy John's new wraps. And don't forget their loyalty app with a free sandwich after your first visit. Jimmy John's in Greenville and Wilson, and online at jimmyjohns.com.
This is Dale Murphy, 2-time National League MVP and number 3 with the Atlanta Braves. And you're listening to Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation.
You're listening to The Brian Bailey Show, powered by Greenville Utilities. Community-owned utilities mean local control, low rates, and high reliability. Now, back to the show.
All right, welcome back to our show. Still trying to get up with Donnie Kirkpatrick, offensive coordinator. We've got some phone issues going on because Coach K was ready to go when he was supposed to be ready to go at 12:03, but we couldn't get hooked up. We got him now? All right, we've got him now. Coach Kirkpatrick, how are you?
You know what? I'm okay. Sun's up, I guess, so we'll go with that.
There you go. We apologize for the technical difficulties, but I guess when you looked at the film from the Michigan game, there may have been some technical difficulties there as well, right?
I think, Brian, this is just your age is what this is.
I think you're right.
Probably can't see the digits anymore.
That's probably right. Clip was doing the digiting, but you're probably right about that as well. But
you might have been calling hardball.
Yeah, that's right.
Right now.
When you looked at the tape, what did you see from your offense against Michigan?
Well, we didn't see enough. I mean, of that, of productivity, obviously. I mean, that's Captain Obvious, I guess. But, I have a good look at it from the press box, so it probably showed me about what I thought. But the big thing, that we addressed was that we just got in the beginning of the first quarter, we just didn't capitalize on the situations we had. Our quarterback's going to be a really good player, and I think he might have been just a little too concerned about maybe not making mistakes and wasn't quite as aggressive as I would have liked for him to have been. So me and him got to do a better job being on the same page in that we had some we had some throws that we didn't take through the RPO game, which is the run pass option. And, of course, we'd also stress that you don't have to go out there and win the game by yourself. And, it's a tough environment to start with on the road. And, you just kind of want to get in the flow of the game. And we had great field position, or not necessarily we had great field position, but we had them backed up, the first two possessions. So you do want to play smart, but we had some RPOs open that we handed it off, should have thrown it. And then the second series, or even the first third down, we had the guy wide open, and we just underthrew him. And then in the second series, Jalen Johnson just turned the nickel back totally around, but we didn't pick the twist up. And he got hit throwing it, we underthrew it, and it was a big turnover. It was the only turnover of the day, but it was a turnover, I think, turned the momentum, got them out of the bad field position. They were able to take it down and score. So, I think that was the big thing we saw, was we just missed some opportunities. Now, they're really good. They're outstanding defensively and, just as a team altogether. So you have to take advantage of all the opportunities because they're not going to give you many.
In your 39 years as an assistant, how many times have you played in front of over 100,000?
I got to think that's the first time.
Yeah.
I lived in Michigan, coached at Eastern Michigan. Davis, my son, was born there in Ann Arbor. We went over there a lot. We did a lot of stuff with their staff in different ways. In fact, we practiced in their indoor facility when the weather was really bad. But I'd never played in that stadium, and so I've been to Penn State. I think it's up there about 100 or something. So I guess that would be the other one. Florida's up there pretty high. We played in that Superdome, but Tulane didn't pack that thing.
No, not really, did they?
They didn't quite draw that crowd, although we did have a nice crowd for the bowl game down there. But yeah, it's a historical place. It's a bucket list place to go. It's really great to see all the Pirate fans make the trip and come up there, and that was very noticeable for our players and our team.
Yeah, I was talking about that before we hooked up with you. Just being there and going through the tunnel. And what I thought about was all the Michigan-Ohio State wars through the years and all the big games that have been played there through the years and the way the locker rooms are set up, one across from the other, and you go out of the same tunnel. I mean, there was just some neat things about that place.
Yeah, I can see how they had little issues there at Michigan State a year or so ago with the way the tunnel was set up. That was kind of I think my thoughts when we went over there to the stadium on Friday. And just then even maybe the pregame, thinking about all the big games, just back 100 years ago. And most of those probably the big games were with Ohio State because that's kind of been the deal in the Big Ten. So I think it was a great experience for our team. I think we'll grow from it. We surely would have liked to have played better and had a closer game. Again, it would have been a tough win. I think we all knew that. We didn't concentrate a lot on, winning the game. We just concentrated on the process and what you'd have to do to win a game like that. I hope that our kids will grow. We had 58 kids there that were new to the program out of our 70. That's probably too many to expect too much success early in the year. You know what I'm saying? But the schedule is what the schedule is. So we don't have time to sit around and really dwell too much on the Michigan game. Now for 2 days we've been on the Marshall Thundering Herd, and we're really looking forward to the home opener, seeing them down here.
When this offense is clicking, regardless of who the quarterback is, the running game gets it started, and that had to be frustrating on Saturday. What did you see on tape as far as the running game?
Yeah, we're an RPO offense that likes to run the ball. So if you'll give us a chance to run the ball, that's when we're at our best. And we were at our best, since I've been back, last year. Obviously, Keaton Mitchell had a lot to do with that. And we'll have another Keaton Mitchell here pretty soon, I think, and Raji's surely going to hit his stride. But we really weren't able to run the ball. And, at the same time, we didn't want to just get into a drop-back throwing game because they rushed the passer so well, and I didn't think that would be, to our advantage. So we were able to stay balanced. And like I say, early we were pinning them back. Our punt team did a great job, put them back like on the one, and the defense stoned them, and we got the field position, in the exchange of punts. And that's why I say we underthrew the guy when we missed a twist, and we had a really good opportunity to score first. But we were in the game, I thought throughout the first half. Late in the second quarter, we had a good drive. We dropped the pass. We called another ball that we thought we caught. They said he didn't catch it. We thought it was a fumble out of bounds, and happened to be they had 12 guys on the field anyhow, so we should have gotten that penalty and been at the worst in 3rd and 3 with a 4-down territory. So we still were in that game. Second half, I guess they came out and scored early and, probably it gotten a pretty good lead. Now, I'm really proud of the kids, though. They didn't quit. I thought the fourth quarter we competed. We still didn't score enough points, no question about that. But I did think Mason came back in and played pretty well in the fourth quarter.
Coach, take us back through the first touchdown for Michigan. Obviously, J.J. McCarthy, it looked like he was past the line of scrimmage. Play was reviewed. And when the video came up on the big board, I don't know if you could hear this or not from where your vantage point, but when the video came up on the big board, 100,000 people gasped. So they all knew that he went past the line of scrimmage, but somebody in the replay booth decided that he didn't. What is the protocol now for East Carolina? Can you guys send that in as, just say, hey, can you guys explain this, that kind of thing?
Yeah, we actually do. That's exactly what happened. In the press box, I could see their bench. And they were already getting the offense ready, or the field goal team. I guess they're going to go field goal ready because they knew that they saw the same thing that everybody else saw.
Yeah.
I don't know how they missed that call. I know that we do. We tag all the plays that we have questions. We send in 12 plays to the National Officiation Association, and they review it. And we just got that back this morning, and I don't know that I'm probably supposed to be the one to reveal all this. 6 of the calls they missed, and that was obviously one of them. The 12 men on the field, they didn't call them for having 12. There were a couple other things like that too. So there were 6 of the 12 we sent in. They reviewed and said that they were wrong. Now, it don't do you much good.
I was going to say, it doesn't do you any good, does it?
You don't get to start on first base next game.
That's right.
But I guess it gives you a little bit of satisfaction that you're not crazy, or at least you know the rules. I was pretty sure they couldn't have 12 out there. We're pretty sure you can't go across the line of scrimmage before you throw the ball. So we are teaching the right thing, I think. So anyhow, yeah, interesting situation there. But I don't think we were expecting to get any calls, in the Big Ten area, the arena up there. But, you'd like to have it a little bit closer.
Yeah, that was disappointing because, like I said, when 100,000 fans all gasped and everybody on the sideline was saying the same thing, and then when they came up with that, as Coach Houston kind of joked afterwards, he said maybe he had a toenail that was still behind that line, but I don't think he did, and I think that now we know that was a missed call, but they can't do anything about it now. It's can't cry over spilled milk. All right, so when you look to move forward, what's one of the things that when you guys get together for practice on Tuesday? You guys have been together a little bit to work the soreness out and everything, but Tuesday and Wednesday are your big days as far as the heavy workload, as Coach Houston says. What are some of the things on offense you want to really, really dive into?
Well, the first things we really have already addressed these things because we do have a light workout on Sunday. So these are some things, the procedural things that we can do better. For example, we had 2 P&10s, as we call them, which are the first play of a possession, to where you got a 25-second clock. And I tell you what, now they're spotting it fast. They're trying to speed the game up more and more. And we kind of got out there late and mulled around a little bit. And, you got some IDing to do with they had a couple of new looks, which you're always going to expect. And just new quarterback, new center, we had to call timeout. So we wasted 2 timeouts in the first half. Those are coaching errors. Those are things we're very hard on ourselves about. We've got to get our kids to understand they got to get out there, and we got new coaches. We got new people on the sideline, for a lot after having some really good continuity here for the last 7 years with me and Coach Houston. We've had more change on offense than ever. So we got to do a better job. We've got to do a better job of getting the players. So we've already addressed that. We still had a procedure where a receiver, jumped, which he should never do. He should be watching the ball. And then coming off the goal line, we had 10 guys on the field and had to call a timeout as well, which, again, we could have used those timeouts, in the second half later there when we were trying to score. We were, in a no-huddle two-minute offense. So those things we cleared up. Now, back to the blocking and the tackling and, those type things. We're working on trying to make sure that the coaches are coaching things for, like with me and, Mason or it be Alex. When should you throw it? When should we run it? Get us in the right play. what was the communication problem? Why were we not on the same page? All those things. Now, Tuesday, we're going to get after, some technique and some hitting and some blocking and, some things and how we can get the run game going a little bit more. You're playing a whole new different scheme, so the game plan will be different technically, but at the same time, you're going to run your system. So it still comes down to you got to block your guy, you got to make some guys miss, you got to catch the ball, you got to throw it better, and that's why you practice.
Yeah, and when you look back at the Michigan game with the inexperience that you had at quarterback, I mean, as Coach Houston said afterwards, again, he said, I was pleased with how he handled the crowd because some people, some players, they can't handle 109,000. And our kids went out and really, I don't think the crowd was that big of a factor. I think it's one of those deals, and maybe it's one of those deals that teams show the most improvement from game 1 to game 2, which is the old adage that every coach usually says, but maybe we'll see some of that going into the Marshall game.
I sure hope so, and I think playing at home obviously will be a little bit more of a comforting feeling too. But I didn't think the crowd was an issue. Now I don't 12 o'clock game. I think they got the same type of deal. We don't like 12 o'clock games here. I think our crowds are a little more rambunctious at the night games as well.
Yeah.
It is a lot of people, but I don't know that they're known is the Death Valley, or some places that are the loudest type stadiums anyhow. But we practice in noise out here. We pump the music in as loud as you can do it so that no matter where we would play, we pretty much are on a silent count anyhow. We use the clap, and we got a couple of different things that we do. So we were pretty prepared for that, I think. And I don't believe any of our communication problems were due to we couldn't hear or anything like that. I just think it was just maybe some inexperience of the coaches and the experience of the players, and maybe put that together, working together, that we could have made some things a little easier on ourselves. But truthfully they're a really, really outstanding team. This is a defense that gave up 16 points a game last year, and they got almost everybody returning. It was almost to the point where we said, well, we're not sure we want to show the players all the film. I mean, Penn State won 11 games last year. They had 10 first downs against them. They scored 10 points on offense. They were lucky enough to have a pick 6, so they scored 17 overall. We didn't play worth a darn. We had 12 first downs. So I can imagine, they're a pretty good defense. And we've talked to some of their guys on the staff. We happen to know them, and they think they're better than they were last year. Now, you never know how the season will play out. Injuries sometimes dictate how good you are or how bad you are, but it really comes down to they were just better than we were on that day, and we just kind of want to be better, though, than we were. We felt like we had a chance to compete and make the game a little bit closer than we did. So home opener this week, Marshall, another good opponent. They had a tough win. It's a good rivalry game, I think. We had a good win last time at their place. I'm sure they're going to be practicing hard this week, wanting to come down here and play us too, though.
Before we go to break, take us through what the quarterback sees, both Mason and Alex. Are there plays designed that they're supposed to do a flat-out read as far as the RPO, or are they some of the plays designed that's you think you're going to get this look, so they kind of know, well, we're expecting this, but we can change to that kind of thing?
Yeah, the RPO game is, I don't know, it's probably is somewhat complex, I think, but it's what we do, so I think our guys are comfortable with that. But there's different types of RPOs. Some they're all a run. We're block and run, and that has an option though that you can throw the ball. Now, obviously, you can't throw the ball very deep down the field,
right?
Obviously, or your lineman may be downfield, and that that's against the rules. So they're quick type throws though, and some of them are just free access. The quarterback just has the option that if they're playing loose coverage on a guy and he has, one-on-one coverage, that you can just take it and throw it out there. Houghton was amazing at that. He never missed an opportunity to turn a throw into a run into a throw. Very aggressive, very comfortable doing that. We got to get Mason and Alex maybe taking advantage of that. Both of them missed some opportunities to do that. Some of the other RPOs are where you're reading a defender. You're taking a defender that would be very hard to block on a run play, usually the backside linebacker or maybe the roll-down safety. And since it's so hard to block him, you just say, hey, we're going to read him. It's a lot like the triple option is. So if the defender that you're putting in that conflict plays run, you're going to pull the ball out of the belly of the running back, and you're going to throw it to where he's vacated his pass responsibilities. We did miss a couple of those as well in there where we could probably have pulled it and taken advantage of the throw. And then there's some other ones where you read different type things. So it's a big part of what we do. You can sometimes it's kind of gray, and you say be careful. Don't just turn all of them into throws. But I just think that probably we were a little too conservative early in the game, and we didn't take advantage of some of those. Some of them were just like bubble screens out there. You know what I'm saying? And we had the advantage. We had them outnumbered. They were stacking the run. They weren't going to let us run the ball, early. No defense is going to want to let you run the ball. So we'll get better at that. We've been good at it in practice. We've been good at it in the scrimmages. Probably just in the game out of panic just a little bit. So that's where the experience will pay off.
Donnie Kirkpatrick, offensive coordinator under Mike Houston at East Carolina, joining us from his office over at ECU. We'll take a commercial break right now. We'll wrap things up with Coach K because he's got to get out of here by 12:45. So we'll take a commercial break, come back, have more with the offensive coordinator after this.
The time to save is now during Bostic Sugg Furniture's incredible Labor Day savings event. Low prices on in-stock furniture and mattresses ready for immediate delivery. Look for hot buy savings store-wide on La-Z-Boy recliners, sofas, and sectionals. Experience your best sleep and save on a comfortable new mattress. Plus, get up to 60 months special financing. It's the biggest sale of the season with the lowest prices of the season. The Labor Day savings event on now at Bostic Sugg Furniture.
Attention athletes and fans. Tiebreakers is looking for all-stars. Do you know an athlete who made a game-winning play, scored an amazing touchdown, or hit a huge home run? We're scouting Eastern North Carolina for this month's most outstanding athlete. Go to tiebreakersathlete.com to nominate your favorite player for the prestigious Athlete of the Month award. Tiebreakers, shining a light on the athletes that make Eastern North Carolina proud. Submit your nomination now at tiebreakersathlete.com.
Hey Miles, isn't it amazing to think our family has been distributing soft drinks since 1923?
It certainly is, Landon, and with that comes a lot of change. But what hasn't changed is our dedication and commitment to our customers. I'm Miles Minges.
And I'm Landon Minges with Minges Bottling Group. Our family has taken great pride in refreshing our neighbors, and we are proud to have remained locally owned and operated for over a century. From our family to yours, we say thank you and are honored to be a part of this wonderful community.
Here's to 100 as we celebrate our employees and our customers all over Eastern North Carolina. From generations before us and to future generations.
Cheers to the next 100 years.
New garlic epic stuffed crust pizza is the pizza inspired by our biggest fans. With that garlic flavor you all love.
In it, on it, with it.
Get the new garlic epic stuffed crust pizza for $13.99 only at Papa John's.
Hey Pirate fans, Papa John's is the MVP move for game day or any day. Place your order online at papajohns.com and sign up for Papa Rewards. Papa John's, better ingredients, better pizza. Go Pirates!
It's hard to forget how hot it gets around here in the summer. Remember, the hotter it is outside, the harder your AC has to work to keep it cool inside. And the more energy it uses to keep you cool, the higher your utility bill will be. Your neighbors at GUC have tips to help you reduce your energy use, such as using fans to cool you down inside and cooking outside when you can in the summer. For more tips, go to GUC.com and look for ways to save.
Pirate Radio.
We are Eastern North Carolina's football program. In time, we will be North Carolina's football program.
The voice of the Pirate Nation. You're listening to The Brian Bailey Show, powered by Greenville Utilities. Community owned, community powered. Now, back to the show.
All right, welcome back. Donnie Kirkpatrick, offensive coordinator for East Carolina, joining us as we get you set for the home opener. East Carolina and the Thundering Herd of Marshall coming up on Saturday in a 4 o'clock kickoff from Dowdy Ficklin Stadium. East Carolina extends that streak of not being shut out to 313 games, and they did it at the gun. That field goal was was important in a number of ways, wasn't it, Coach?
Well, yeah, I know that sounds crazy that you're talking about 3 points when you lost by 27. So I don't know. Maybe some of the gamblers were excited about it too. But I do, and we weren't thinking about the streak. That was news to me. I didn't know that stat there. But I do think it was important because I think if you work that hard, you want a little bit of just some satisfaction there that the drive did score. But the other thing, I think, anytime we could go out there and make a field goal, that's a good thing for us right now. We're coming off a tough year, in the kicking game, I think, from last year, which everybody's aware of. I think just building some momentum there, was a good thing.
East Carolina and Marshall coming up this week. Coach, when you guys are working on the Marshall game, is there any talk about the history between East Carolina and Marshall back to the plane crash in 1970? Do you guys dwell on that at all? Because it's almost like an instant history lesson that you can give the guys when you have a game like this.
We haven't, and I know that Coach Shankweiler has been working with the upper floor there on some things about them coming back and maybe something with one of the teams coming back and trying to get some of the people. And I think they have one person, I guess obviously the coach, that didn't get back on the plane. I think they've been trying to reach out to him. But as far as the players, I don't know. Coach Houston may elect to do that later in the week, but we haven't discussed anything about, getting the players involved in that.
And many of the players may have seen the movie because that's a little easier history lesson to digest, I guess. But it's just Marshall and East Carolina and just the history between the two teams. And then the last time that East Carolina took on the Marshall Thundering Herd, Pirates had that big rally in the fourth quarter, won the game 42-38. Pirates with those 21 points in the fourth quarter. Man, early in the fourth quarter, that game looked bleak, didn't it, Coach?
I don't remember. I just remember the good parts.
I hear you. You blanked out the other part.
Probably the biggest thing, because we've actually watched the cut up of this. The game came down to, we were on like the half-yard line, because you remember they took it all the way down and almost scored. I think we intercepted it on the 1.5 yard line. There was 6 seconds left in the game. And, wow, all of a sudden you got to go back out there and you got to run a play, and you can't give up a safety. You surely can't fumble the ball. So we had worked on this play where the quarterback would roll out and throw the ball out of bounds, but throw it as high as he could and try to waste the time. And so we had practiced that, and it really had come back from, anybody might remember the little meltdown we'd had against Central Florida here back in the previous time I was here, where we didn't execute that play. So we had really practiced that play ever since then, and we did run it well, and we killed the clock. So we installed that, in preseason camp, and that's been the cut-up we've shown of that. So the Marshall game has been kind of on our mind just a little bit through the cut-ups of what a tough game that was, what a good win that was. But I know there's the history of the teams from the bowl game had the big shootout too. So, we had some really good games against them. I know back when Skip was here and when Ruff was here too, always was a tough place to play up there. And our place is a tough place to play, I think, for the opponent.
Marshall comes in after a win, 21-17 on opening day. That was the 600th win in Thundering Herd program history, and they played really well defensively in the second half. The last 7 drives, they didn't give up a third down conversion against Albany. What have you seen in that video?
Well, they are. They've got a lot of new transfers in, so them being the second game of the year, we had done a summer report on them. We usually do the first 4 opponents and kind of have a little, scouting report on them going into the season, going into the preseason. And so a lot of different names from what we had, though, in the summer report, and that they had a lot of transfers that came late, and came in the summer. So they got a lot of depth, good defensive line. Tell you what, makes a lot of plays, super aggressive linebackers, a lot of, like to blitz the linebackers a lot. It's what we've already it's really stood out in our minds. So played really good Saturday, which, we expect Marshall to be good. They've had a long history of winning a lot of football games. Very, very proud program. So they've been good at every level. I remember when I was at Appalachian State, they used to be a rival of ours, back when we were in the Southern Conference. And then, like I say, we were in Conference USA, I guess, together here. We had some really good games, and not in the same league, but we got a good home series, I guess, going here, where we were able to beat them up there. And so, again, we got to try to keep that streak going.
Pirates lead the all-time series with Marshall. 11-5 is the count with that one. And really, when you think about the type of games that you want to play in the non-conference part of your schedule, I mean, I think a lot of teams like playing like a big-time opponent like Michigan was, and then you get to come back and play teams. Like I think App State's a great game for East Carolina. I think Marshall's a great game for East Carolina, and then later on you start your conference slate. So this is all of a sudden, and coaches will say it's a big game because it's the next game on the schedule, right?
Well, yeah, they are. They're all big games. You're trying to get as many wins as you can. I do think they're regional rivals. I think some of our fans really, really embrace the Marshall and the Appalachian games. I think some of the fans probably don't. I think they'd like to play Michigan and then play Ohio State the next week, probably Alabama the next week like that too. I'm not sure that'd be very good for the coaching part of us to do that, but it takes all those things. I think it's a good experience for the players to play some out-of-region games and different games. I think going to Brigham Young's a good deal. You wouldn't want to do it every year.
Right.
I think it's good to go do that. Go to the West Coast, go up to the Midwest, go down to Florida. We played a non-conference game with those guys. So I think, in recruiting, that can help you because you get your name out. You kind of widen your brand a little bit, more prospects hear about you because you're in their local news, you're on different TV networks and stuff like that. And I just think you can sell that to the families too. If you come here and you play your 4 or 5 years here, we're going to make these different trips. Hopefully there's going to be some bowl game trips in there too, but you're also going to make some other non-conference, trips are just good experience for you. Then eventually lock back in and get some regional rivalries. We've had great opener last year with North Carolina State, and we've obviously played a lot of the other ACC schools, Virginia Tech, Virginia, North Carolina, those teams. We'd like to get Wake Forest and Duke probably back involved in some of that rotation. I think the fans would like that. I think our players would like that. I think it would help us recruit locally a little bit too. We got a tough conference, already, but it's a spread out type of deal as well. So, I'm kind of glad we're just playing all the non-conference games in a row, and then eventually we'll just switch the switch and get into the conference.
After the game, Coach Houston said that maybe this is a team that will have two quarterbacks most of the year. Do you look at this week as a chance to see which quarterback plays better and that one starts? Or do you go into this week saying Mason's going to get the start again, 3 or 4 series in, we're going to go with Alex? Or what are your thoughts on as far as the quarterback position goes?
Well, we were in here discussing that early this morning about how we're going to play it out again and, what we're going to do in practice, how we're going to rotate the guys. And, again, I don't know that we have the total final decision. We're going to try to do what gives us the best chance to win. And I do think it's okay to play more than one quarterback. I know some people probably agree with that. Some people don't. But, I think it is. I still remember winning the Hawaii Bowl that year when we had to play 2 quarterbacks.
Yes, sir.
It all kind of started. So you don't do it a lot. I wouldn't want to do it a lot. And I haven't done it a lot, but we'll do whatever it takes. I do think that there's some comfort in knowing that you do have more than one quarterback, though, that you believe in. I thought Alex did a really good job of coming off the bench the other day and giving us a little bit of a lift. He came in, he hit a couple throws. We moved the ball all the way down the field in that drive with him. Like I say, he had 2 balls that were dropped that he threw really, really great balls on. And I thought it gave us a little bit of a lift. At the same time, we came out in the second half and we didn't move it. We were a little disappointed in that drive. And, I thought that Mason handled that well. It gave him the opportunity to get on the sideline and see the thing from a different angle and just to relax a little bit. And then when he came back in, I thought he really had a good fourth quarter. And so that was encouraging. So we'll find that combination. It's not like you're playing the non-conference games and they don't matter, because they surely do. But I do think that we'll have it worked out for sure by the time we do get into the conference play.
Tom Landry played Craig Morton and Roger Staubach. He would send the plays in with the quarterbacks, and if he was able to win with that, I'm okay with 2 quarterbacks.
All right, well, now that it's the Cowboy thing, I'd probably change.
knew that was coming, but I had to throw it out there. You know, I got a guest and I got a producer that hate the Cowboys, and that's just how it goes. But Coach Houston likes the Cowboys, so there you go with that. Donnie Kirkpatrick, as we wrap things up with the Pirate offensive coordinator, well, what are some of the things that you hope to see out of your quarterbacks coming up this week at practice? And everybody. We didn't even talk about Rajay. I thought Rajay has looked great all summer long as far as the way he's running the football. His smile is back, and we didn't see him burst through, but you know there was some reasons for that with number 2 Michigan. But I think he's going to have a big day coming up on Saturday.
Yeah, he's got to. You know, he had the one good run where he popped it back off the backside there and did it. When the game got a little bit probably, unwinnable there, probably down 30, we weren't going to just waste him, in a game like that, because he's got a lot of heavy lifting to do the rest of the season. So we'll start getting good as we get him going. Talking about the running backs, though, I was really excited about Javius Bond, our true freshman. I thought he had really a difference maker game, and I think you'll see him a lot more because of what he did in that first game. He's exciting. So we're going to try to get him the ball a little bit more and get him involved in it, and we'll get this thing clicking. I'm pretty confident that we'll get better each week, and we're just looking to play better. I mean, it's just really a matter of, you have a play, and you block them well, and the guy gets open, and you don't make the throw. But then the other time they block them well, you make a good throw, we dropped it. You just got to put it all 3 phases together in the passing game. You got to protect, you got to throw it good, you got to get open, you got to catch it. In the run game, it's a lot of that too. You just got to get hat on hat, get a little bit more movement. We got to knock some people off the ball a little bit. We're talking to the offensive line about being a little bit nastier, okay, getting a little bit more movement up front. Now, we did have one guy, Dustin Hall, our center, who I thought played outstanding, and he kind of really is starting to show us that he may be the leader of that group. And obviously doing it against Michigan's one thing, and you got to come back now and do it against Marshall.
That's one thing about that offensive line, as Coach Ruff would say, it's not 5 pennies, it's 1 nickel, and you got to find not necessarily the 5 most talented guys on the offensive line, but the 5 guys that are going to work the best together, and that had to be a heck of a challenge against Michigan.
Well, it was, and that's exactly how the O-line has to play. They have to play as a unit. Now, one thing I'm very, very proud of the offensive line, and we did help them some with the tight ends and the running backs in protection. We didn't have a sack. Michigan's really, really disappointed that they didn't get a sack, because they get a lot of sacks, and I saw where they graded their D-line really, really low. So some genius that thinks he knows football gave them a bad mark because they didn't get a sack. But they did pressure the quarterbacks, which sometimes is more effective because the pressure is what caused the interception, actually. But I am proud of the line because I thought we pass protected from what we asked them to do a lot better than I was afraid we would be able to do, and we'll continue to get better at that. But we won't be a good just drop back and throw it team if we can't run the ball and keep the defenses honest. So we will try to get back to doing that a little bit more.
And that's got to be the key against Marshall. You got to get that ground game cranked up early on, and then let her fly, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah, we're going to do it. That's it. That's the plan.
There you go. That is the plan. Donnie Kirkpatrick, offensive coordinator, joining us on this holiday Monday. Coach K, thanks so much for your time. We certainly appreciate it. We know you're busy putting the game plan together, and we'll see you at Dowdy Flickin' coming up on Saturday.
All right. I appreciate you, man.
Thank you. Donnie Kirkpatrick, offensive coordinator under Mike Houston at East Carolina. We'll take another commercial break. We'll come back, and we'll wrap up this edition of the Brian Bailey Show on this Labor Day holiday Monday right after this. The Rick House is Eastern North Carolina's premier restaurant and bourbon authority. Jefferson's, Basil Hayden, Woodford Reserve, and a Midwinter Night's Dram are just a few of the incredible bourbon options. The Rick House features the very best steaks and fresh, made-from-scratch pastas. The Rick House can host your corporate event or special parties in the 3,000-square-foot banquet hall. Join the Rick House for Sunday brunch from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. and for the wine tastings on the last Friday of every month. The Rick House.
Hey you. Yeah, you. Have you heard? Greenville Auto World is under new ownership and is now part of the DriveHereNow.com network. DriveHereNow.com is run by local people who buy, service, detail, and sell everything directly to you. Greenville Auto World is now the 5th dealership to join the DriveHereNow.com network. Get car shopping today at DriveHereNow.com and choose a location near you. DriveHereNow.com, serving Eastern North Carolina for over 47 years and proud supporter of the Pirates.
Greetings, friends of Eastern North Carolina. If you're looking for a great place to work with competitive pay and a multitude of advancement opportunities, Pitt County Schools is hiring. We employ over 3,500 people, and we're one of the largest employers in Pitt County. We are currently seeking teachers, bus drivers, school nutrition personnel, facility staff, custodians, clerical staff, and more. We offer advanced leadership opportunities for our educators and competitive pay for our skilled labor force. If you want to be part of a thriving school system that focuses on educating students, growing our employees, and promoting positive mental and physical health initiatives, we encourage you to become a part of our Pitt County Schools family to help ensure success for the future of Eastern North Carolina. To fill out an application, visit our website today at pittschools.org. That's pittschools.org. And remember, education is truly a team effort. Pitt County Schools. Live and lead.
Hey, John, I see your new system's having issues already.
Yeah, I used the other guy with an AC brand I've never heard of.
You should have used Delcor, John. They install Train. It's hard to stop a train.
I know, but the other guy was cheaper.
Cheaper isn't better, John.
I know.
Don't use the other guy. Call Delcor. For a limited time, buy a new Train system and pay 0% interest for 12 months. Visit Delcor.com for more details. Delcor, the service professionals.
Are you having a hard time participating in the activities you love due to pain? Well, then you need a good stretch or perhaps a massage. At Bodies in Balance, they offer massage therapy, assisted stretching, and Graston techniques to help provide solutions. With years of experience, the team at Bodies in Balance can create a stretch or massage program that is right for you. Mention Pirate Radio to get your first free stretch and your first massage for only $1 per minute. Call 916-4530 to get on the schedule, or you can visit them online at bodiesinbalance.com.
I intend to see to it that any man who sails under a pirate flag or wears a pirate brand gets what he deserves.
Pirate Radio.
I think it'd be rather exciting to meet a pirate.
The voice of the pirate nation. You're listening to The Brian Bailey Show, powered by Greenville Utilities, providing reliable utility solutions to the Greenville region since 1905. Now, back to the show.
All right, welcome back to our show. Wrapping up this edition of The Brian Bailey Show on this holiday Monday. Big weekend of sports to come. The NFL cranks up on Thursday night, Lions and the Chiefs, and then, of course, the complete schedule coming up on Sunday and Monday. College football, week one finishes up actually tonight with Clemson and Duke. I'm anxious to see what Clemson looks like after what we saw what Florida State looked like against LSU, but I didn't see that beatdown coming. Clip Brock joins us. What did you think of that game?
Yeah, it was kind of weird that it got so out of control because it was pretty back and forth for a while. A lot of miscues, and we're going to talk to Donnie Kirkpatrick later this week. East Carolina had some drops. Jari Patterson had one go right through the
I hated to see that.
Arms, and
he's had such a great camp too.
And he had some other guys, but I was thinking last night watching these.
They had some big bonehead play. Yeah, exactly.
Wide receivers drop passes, so it happens everywhere. What do you do to clean that up? But yeah, that one got out of hand last night. Florida State looks like could be the real deal.
Chandler said a lot of folks were reacting to what Coach Kirkpatrick said about the missed calls against Michigan, and they sent 12 in. 6 of them they decided were actual missed calls, and the touchdown shouldn't have been a touchdown when J.J. McCarthy went past the line of scrimmage. And that's unfortunate because that's what replay is all about. You know, when you have replay, you're expecting to be able to get that call right. And in my point again, if you didn't hear it earlier, when 100,000 people see it on those huge video screens that Michigan had, and everybody gasped, you knew that everybody thought that it was going to come back. Michigan's team thought it was going to come back, but it didn't.
Mike Tirico and Chris Sims and all those guys in the booth were talking about, oh, yeah, this is definitely coming back. And
They were even shocked to see that the final result was that it stood.
I had a chance to see Mike Tirico. He was at the East Carolina walkthrough at the Big House at Michigan Stadium on Friday afternoon. He was talking to Coach Houston and John Gilbert and getting set for his break. He's from around there. He had a Detroit Tiger hat on, and they were asking him about it. And he said, "Yeah, I'm from around here, and just came over to welcome you guys to Michigan." I tell you, the fans in Michigan, everywhere we went, they were really, really accommodating, really nice folks. I mean, they were like, "Hey, welcome to Ann Arbor, welcome to Michigan." So that was kind of neat to see. It really wasn't any animosity or anything like that. Of course, if the Pirates had pulled the upset, it might have been a little different story.
When you're 36-point favorites,
exactly.
You can be nice to folks.
They'll probably be nice to UNLV this week too. Won't
I would
they?
imagine so. Yeah,
I think so. But I was interested to hear from Donnie about the quarterback situation as well, because I think looking at what Donnie and those guys are going through, they really would like for one of those guys just to rise to the top and just make it a no decision. And they don't have that yet.
I'm in the minority. I kind of like the 2 quarterback system. I like something different. I want to see both of those guys go in and play well and move the ball.
And I think in the situation they're in, the more experience they can give both guys, because we all know injuries are a part of college football. So if both guys can get some experience and have some success, I think that that's going to pay dividends down the line. So if one of them does get hurt, but I'm not totally against the 2 quarterback deal. I think it's funny, but every other position out there, Rajay Harris comes out of the game and another running back goes in and nobody goes crazy, nobody goes nuts. But when it's the quarterback position, it seems to be a completely different story.
And I get it. I mean, we've talked to Bryce Williams that year that Kurt Benkert went down and East Carolina had to go with Blake Kemp and James Summers. He has said that he wished they would have just kind of given it to Kemp, let Summers do his thing at receiver, running back, and be a star. But they tried to go 2 quarterbacks, so it does mess maybe with the receivers and things like that. But I'm fine with it. I want to see both those guys go out there Saturday.
That was the year Summers won the Heisman, wasn't it?
He won it on the Virginia Tech game. Yep.
That one game.
Troy Dreyfus Memorial Heisman.
That's right. That was hilarious. But he was an outstanding player.
Yeah.
Don't take anything away from him there. But yeah, just what do you think about the Marshall game? I think it's a great game for East Carolina to play. I think Marshall will travel well. They'll bring some fans down here. I think the history between the 2 schools, as we said, the plane crash from 70, the 64-61 bowl game. How many overtimes was that? 3? I think it was.
Oh yeah.
It was triple OT. And then the comeback that East Carolina had against Marshall the last time these 2 teams played. So in talking to Donnie, I think he was serious. He didn't remember anything about being down that much. He just remembered all the positive stuff in the 4th quarter. But that was one for the ages for Holt Naylors and company to come back and win that football game up in Huntington, West Virginia, because it did look bleak to start the 4th quarter in that one. But we're looking forward to everything with the game coming up, the home opener. You guys will be on the air with the Bud Light pregame tailgate at high noon, correct?
Yep.
High noon.
Looking forward to it.
We'll be with you for that, and complete coverage, of course, all week long right here on Pirate Radio, and of course on Saturday, the Bud Light pregame tailgate. You got your 5th quarter. How'd that go the other day? Good?
Yeah, went good. Had a lot of level-headed takes, I thought. So now you lose to Marshall, and things could go a little haywire, or if you beat Marshall, people are going to be fired up, getting ready for a big game against App. So, look, that was, to me, it felt like an exhibition game.
Right.
It didn't even feel like a real game. And
it was kind of surreal being up there because, you're on a different stage. I mean, you're just, and that's just how it is right now in college football. You've got the not only the Power 5, there are a whole lot of Power 5s East Carolina can go on the road and beat. No question. But when you're going up against one of the elite Power 5s and a team that's trying to get back into the college football playoff, and that's what you got. But 30-3, the final in Game 1. On to Game 2, Marshall and East Carolina at 4:00 coming up on Saturday. Clip, thanks so much for all of your work. Chandler, thanks so much for being here on this Labor Day holiday. Thanks to Donnie Kirkpatrick, offensive coordinator at East Carolina. Don't forget Pirates and the Herd coming up on Saturday at 4:00. Have yourself a great sports week, and we'll see you back here next Monday.
This has been The Brian Bailey Show, powered by Greenville Utilities, and also brought to you by
The Angus Grill, Bostic Sugg, Bojangles, East Coast Grading, Gavigan Insurance, Greenville Auto World, Papa John's, Greenville Utility Company, Pepsi, The Rick House, Taft and Hagler, and Tiebreakers.
Join us next week for another edition of The Brian Bailey Show, right here on Pirate Radio. This is Pirate Radio, WGHB Farmville, 1250 at 92.7 FM Greenville, WDL.